Hello everyone, this is Sam from Language Atlas, and in this video I would like to show you the Japanese A1 vocabulary Anki deck. In this video we will go over three things. First, I would like to show you the course structure of the Japanese A1 vocabulary Anki deck. Second, I'd like to show the course content. And third, I'd like to show some brief system and editing options. Now, as you can tell, I have the Japanese A1 vocabulary Anki deck right over here. Now normally you would double click on the Anki deck to open it, but I've already done so, as you can see right over here. So I'll maximize Anki, and I'd like to get started with my first point, which is to show the course structure. Now inside the overall Japanese A1 vocabulary Anki deck, you can see that there are 9 chapters, beginning with chapter 1 pronouns, then going to chapter 2 conjunctions, chapter 3 verbs, chapter 4 determiners, chapter 5 nouns, chapter 6 adjectives, chapter 7 adverbs, chapter 8 prepositions, and finally chapter 9 numbers. Now if I go to chapter 5 nouns, and you can see there's a little plus icon in front of it, if I click on that one, you can tell that there are subdecks inside, 20 to be precise, ranging from academia and intellect and animals, all the way to time, maths and numbers and transportation. Now what I've done is that I've categorized all nouns by theme. So if you wish to learn more about a certain theme, you are able to do so. So if you wish to learn more about clothing and fashion, you can do so. If you wish to learn more about electronics and technology, you can do so. If you wish to learn more about society and economy, you can do so. Whichever theme you are more or most interested in, you're able to learn more about it. And the big benefit of this is that if you wish to focus on a certain theme, you are now able to do so. So that was my first point, which was to show the course structure. Now I have to go to my second point, which is to show the course content. And I will do so by having a look at 3 Anki decks within the overall Japanese A1 vocabulary Anki deck. I'd like to have a look at chapter 5 nouns and home, to be a bit more precise. Then I'll go to chapter 6 adjectives, and finally I'll have a look at chapter 3 verbs. Now, I cannot show you all of these Anki decks, but I do believe that by having a look at these 3, you will have a better understanding, a better feeling of what it is like if you do this Japanese A1 vocabulary Anki deck. So I'd like to get started with chapter 5 nouns, and then to be more precise, I'd like to go to home, and then I'm going to click on study now. So we see our first card type. We see that there's a Japanese sentence, and over here you see a blank area. And it's your job to know what goes inside of this blank area. Now underneath that, we see that there is a English translation sentence. The bathroom window is open, and you see that bathroom is bolded and underlined. So you have to know what bathroom is in Japanese, and that is what goes inside of the blank area. Underneath that, we see that there's a visual representation of the sentence and the word that we're trying to learn. And in this case, the visual representation is an image. Now, many studies have shown that if you have such a visual representation, it is much easier for you to understand and memorize the word and the sentence that you're trying to learn. There's one more thing that I'd like to say about this sentence, and to be a bit more precise about all the sentences in this deck. Now, all of the sentences in this deck use a polite, learner-friendly Japanese. You will often see endings with desu and masu. This is often called desu masu style, or sometimes as well the polite style. Now I'll explain a little bit more about this later, but this is just something that I wanted to share with you now. So let's have a look. How do you say bathroom in Japanese?
お風呂場の窓が開いています。お風呂場。
Great. So we can see that there are 2 areas. We have a sentence area and we have a word area. Now I'd like to get started by showing you the sentence area. Over here you can see that we have the correct answer sentence, and a certain part is bolded and shown in the color indigo. Now this is the answer that we're looking for, but why is it bolded and shown in the color indigo? Well, there's no special meaning other than that I really wanted you to be able to spot the correct answer immediately. So the fact that there's a certain color has no special meaning, but it's just here so that you can immediately spot the correct answer in the answer sentence. And this will help you a lot because you can immediately spot it. You don't have to look for it, and bam, you have the answer straight in front of you. You know where to look. So answer sentence, the word that we're looking for, bolded and in the color indigo so that you can immediately spot it and see it. So it's a nice visual cue. Underneath that, we have the IPA notation. And the IPA notation is here so you can improve your pronunciation. Now, many people like having this IPA notation here as well. It's easier for them to read along. And of course, you don't have to use it, but you can really fine-tune your pronunciation with the IPA notation. Underneath the IPA notation, we have the English translation sentence, the bathroom window is open, and finally we have audio.
お風呂場の窓が開いています。
Great. So now I'd like to go to the second area, which is the word area. Now this is the word area. It shows the noun by itself right over here. And this is sometimes also called the dictionary form or the base form. This is the form you would look up in the dictionary. So over here, this is the base form or the dictionary form. And dictionary form, base form right over here, this is what we're looking for. IPA notation, so this helps with pronunciation, English translation, and audio.
お風呂場、
Now, another interesting thing is that Japanese does not usually mark singular and plural in the same way that English does. So one Japanese noun can often mean either singular or plural depending on a sentence. So just having this over here, just having bathroom in itself already suffices for you when it comes to the singular and plural. Another thing that I would like to say is that something that you may have noticed right over here. You will also see Japanese written with kanji and furigana. So kanji right over here and furigana is above it. So furigana are the small reading hints above kanji. Now this helps because kanji do not always tell a beginner how they should be read. So when the deck shows kanji with furigana, you get real Japanese writing, but you also get help with reading. This means that you can read and study real Japanese sentences and words without having to guess every kanji reading. So over here, one more time, you see the kanji. You see over here the furigana. And if you look at the sentence area, again, you see it as well over here, and as well furigana right over here above kanji, and over here as well. So let's continue. The post arrives in the morning. How do you say post?
郵便は朝に届きます。郵便、
Great. So sentence area and word area. Please open the window because it is hot. How do you say window?
暑いので窓を開けてください。窓、
The cat is sleeping on the chair. How do you say chair?
猫が椅子の上で寝ています。椅子、
Great. Another one. Please write your name with a black pen. How do you say pen?
名前は黒いペンで書いてください。ペン、
Yesterday, the bottle fell from the shelf. How do you say bottle?
昨日、棚から瓶が落ちました。瓶、
Great. Sentence area, word area. The cat is sleeping on the floor. How do you say floor?
猫が床で寝ています。床、
After work, I take a hot bath. After work, I take a hot bath. How do you say bath?
仕事の後、熱いお風呂に入ります。風呂、
Great. And let's do one more. So this one, we see the Japanese sentence. We see the furigana above the kanji. So this will help you with reading and pronunciation as well. You have English translation sentence, wall, bolded, underlined, and you see a picture. How do you see wall? How do you say wall?
隣の家の壁は白いです。壁、
So one final recap. Sentence area, word area. We see the correct Japanese sentence with the words we're looking for bolded and in the color indigo. We see the IPA notation. This helps with pronunciation. We have the English translation sentence and we have audio.
隣の家の壁は白いです。
And of course we have furigana above kanji here, here, and here. We have the word area, sometimes called dictionary form or base form. We have the word, again, furigana above kanji. IPA notation, which helps with pronunciation, English translation, and audio.
壁、
So I could continue like this, but I think that you get the picture. So now I'd like to go to my second deck, which is chapter 6, adjectives. And I'm going to click on study now. So this is what we see. It's a similar setup. We see a Japanese sentence with a certain blank area. We have to know what goes inside of the blank area. We have the English translation sentence. He is quick at his work, and quick is bolded and underlined. So we have to know what quick is, and that goes over here. And we have a visual representation of the sentence and the words that we're looking for right over here. So, quick, let's have a look.
彼は仕事が早いです。早い、
And we see a setup that is mostly familiar. So we have a sentence area, we have a word area, then over here you see the adjective type. So again, starting with the sentence area, you know this. Correct sentence word that we're looking for, bolded and shown in the color indigo. We have the IP notation, which helps with pronunciation. English translation and audio.
彼は仕事が早いです。
And notice the furigana above the kanji here, 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 and here. We have the word area. We see the correct word. And over here we see the furigana. We see the IPA notation. We see English translation and we see audio.
早い。
And over here we see a new area. So the last area is the adjective type. There are two main types of adjective. And this one is an E adjective. And the other type is called a na adjective. E adjectives can go directly before a noun. So if you wish to say hayai densha, fast train, you can do so. However, for na adjectives, you need a na before a noun. So you can say shizuka na machi, so a quiet town. So this label lets you know what kind of adjective you are learning. Let's continue. My mother's cooking is very delicious. How do you say delicious?
母の料理はとても美味しいです。美味しい。
Great. I have a terrible headache today. How do you say terrible?
今日は頭痛がひどいです。ひどい。
Great. So we see the sentence area, we have the word area and the adjective type. Since I did not sleep much yesterday, I am very sleepy. How do you say sleepy?
昨日はあまり寝なかったので、とても眠いです。眠い。
Dictionaries are useful for studying. How do you say useful?
辞書は勉強に便利です。便利。
This tea is hot, so I will wait a little. How do you say hot?
お茶が熱いので少し待ちます。熱い。
As this suitcase is light, it is convenient. How do you say light?
このスーツケースは軽いので便利です。軽い。
He speaks perfect Japanese. How do you say perfect?
彼は完璧な日本語を話します。完璧。
And other adjective type. And let's do one more. He has fantastic talent. How do you say fantastic?
彼には素晴らしい才能があります。素晴らしい。
Great. So let's do a small recap one more time. We have Japanese answer sentence with the word we're looking for, bolded and shown in color indigo. We have IP notation, which helps with pronunciation, English translation, and audio.
彼には素晴らしい才能があります。
And of course, you see the kanji right over here as well. Sorry, you see the furigana right above the kanji. So furigana above the kanji, which helps with knowing how to read it. We have the word area over here. So we see the correct word, kanji, and above it, furigana. We see the IP notation. Underneath that, we see the English translation and finally audio.
素晴らしい。
And we have the adjective type right over here. Now, I could continue, but I think that you get the picture. Now, let's go to verbs, and I'm going to click on Study Now. So, we see a similar setup. We see a Japanese sentence with a blank area. We have to know what goes inside of the blank area. We have English translation sentence. The train leaves at 9 o'clock. We see leaves bold and underlined. And you can see a visual representation or image. So let's have a look.
電車は9時に出発します。出発します。出発する。
Great. So I'd like to get started by showing you the first area. And again, no big surprise over here. Sentence area, correct form, bold and shown in the color indigo, IP notation for pronunciation, English sentence for the English translation sentence, and we have audio.
電車は9時に出発します。
And of course, you see the furigana above the kanji. But now things are starting to get interesting because we see that to leave is shown twice. Well, why is this the case? Well, this verb card is a good moment to explain why verb cards show both a polite form, which is this one, and a dictionary form, which is this one. Now, the nouns only had a dictionary form because nouns do not really have a separate polite form. The sentence can be polite, but the noun itself stays the same. Adjectives do have a polite form, but it didn't have a separate polite form area because they're just so simple. All you do is take the adjective and add this after it. But verbs are different because verbs themselves change form. So let's have a look. This is the polite form of the verb that we're trying to learn. And you can tell that over here, it ends with masu. Let's listen to it.
出発します。
And the polite form is what is used in the answer sentence as well. And you can see the mas over here. And let's have a listen.
電車は9時に出発します。
Great. So a small little tip, mas over here, and the polite form is what is used in sentences to show the polite form. Now this polite form is useful because it sounds respectful and natural in many everyday situations. You can use this style with people you do not know well, teachers, staff, shop workers, restaurant staff, and co-workers. You can also use this with people you know when you want to sound polite or respectful. Now underneath that we see over here we have the dictionary form, and this is the base form of the word. It is the form you would normally look up in the dictionary. So this one and this one, the polite form and the dictionary form, they are not different verbs. They are two forms of the same verb. The polite form is used in sentences. The dictionary form is the base form, and that is what you use to look up the word in a dictionary. So all the verb cards use the polite form in the answer sentence. And we talked earlier that this deck has sentences in the polite form. So having the polite form over here and of course the dictionary form, which is the base form, side by side will help you a lot. Underneath that, we see that there's another area. This is the verb group area. So you also see a verb group label. This tells you what kind of verb it is. Often verbs may be marked as group 1 or 2, or in this case, irregular verb. You don't need to master all verb groups now, but the label is there to help you gradually notice how different verbs change. So let's do one more recap. We have the sentence over here. We have the polite form of the word. Let's have a listen to it.
出発します。
And we have the dictionary form. Let's listen to that.
出発する。
And again, notice the ending.
出発します。出発する。
Great. So this part, you know, we have the word polite form. We have the furigana above it, above the kanji. I pay notation, English translation and audio.
出発します。
And dictionary form, same setup. Dictionary form, furigana above the kanji. IP notation, which helps with pronunciation, English translation and audio.
出発する。
The teacher corrects the homework. How do you say corrects?
先生は宿題を直します。直します。直す。
Great. So setup, you know, sentence, polite, dictionary, and which verb group it is. And again, notice this is the word and you have the mas in the end.
先生は宿題を直します。
And that is the polite form, and you can see it over here as well.
直します。
And we have the dictionary form as well. The cat sits by the window. How do you say sits?
猫は窓のそばに座ります。座ります。座る。
Miss Suzuki will email the map. How do you say email?
鈴木さんは地図をメールします。メールします。メールする。
Tanaka interviews the company president. How do you say interviews?
田中さんは社長にインタビューします。インタビューします。インタビューする。
Birds go over the mountain. Go over.
鳥は山を越えます。越えます。越える。
The teacher repeats the question slowly. How do you say repeats?
先生は質問をゆっくり繰り返します。繰り返します。繰り返す。
And let's do one more, the last one. Many tourists enjoy the festival. How do you say enjoy?
多くの観光客はお祭りを楽しみます。楽しみます。 楽しむ、
Great. So let's do one final recap. We have the sentence area, we have the word area in its polite form, we have the word area in its dictionary form, and you get to see the verb group. So sentence area, we have the correct answer sentence with the correct word we're looking for, bolded in the color indigo, so that you can immediately spot the correct answer. IP notation for pronunciation, English translation and audio.
多くの観光客はお祭りを楽しみます。
And above the kanji, we have the furigana, which helps you know how it is supposed to be read. We have the polite form, and again, the polite form for verbs is what is used in the sentences. So you can see over here, this one is the same. And notice the masu ending.
楽しみます。多くの観光客はお祭りを楽しみます。
So the mas ending is a nice little trick that can give you a nice little help. So polite form above it, furigana, IP notation, English translation, audio.
楽しみます。
We have the base form or dictionary form of the word. Over here, IP notation for pronunciation, English translation and audio.
楽しむ、
You see the furigana right over here. And you get to see the verb group label. Now I could continue, but I think that you get the picture. So that was my second point, which was to show you the course content. Now I'd like to go to my third point, which is to show you some brief system and editing options. Now you may have noticed that all of the exercises we have done so far were fill in the blank exercises. You see a sentence with a blank area, and it's your job to know what goes inside of that blank area. For those that want to practice their spelling, there's an optional typing exercise. This is disabled by default, but I will show you how to enable it. So we are going to go to Browse, and then I am going to click on Japanese A1 vocabulary. You can choose any card, it doesn't matter which one. And if you scroll down, you can see there's an area over here called Enable Typing Practice. Now all you have to do is enter the word yes over here, and you will get an additional typing exercise as well. But doing this one by one for all these cards takes a very long time. So I'll show you how to do it in a faster way. Select any card, it doesn't matter which one. Control A or Command A. Right mouse click. Notes. And then we will go to Find and Replace. We want to find the empty area and replace this with the word yes. And we want to do this for the Enable Typing Practice field. So find the empty area, replace it with yes, and for the Enable Typing Practice field. Click on OK, and you can see that all the notes or all the sentences just updated. You can see that there's a yes here over well. So let's have a look. What does this look like in practice? Go to Chapter 5 Nouns. I will go to Home, and let's have a look. So this is a card that we've already seen before. We see the bathroom window is open, and we see the bathroom is bold and underlined. And before we only had to know the Japanese word for bathroom, but now we actually have to spell the word, we have to type the word as well. So the second card type really tests whether you can spell or whether you can type a word correctly. So let's have a look at what happens if I enter the correct answer.
お風呂場の窓が開いています。お風呂場、
Great. So as you can tell, my answer was correct, and this is because it shows up in the color green. This is great about Anki. You get immediate feedback after you enter an answer. So Anki really shows you if you had a correct answer, and this is a really nice feature for those that want to practice their spelling or of course their typing as well. But let's see what happens if we do not know the correct answer. So this is a card that we've also seen before. The post arrives in the morning. So let's have a look at what happens if I do not know the correct answer. Enter it.
郵便は朝に届きます。郵便、
So I entered the incorrect answer, and you can tell that over here I only had the first part correct, but the second part, that is where I made a mistake. So the first part, which was correct, is what shows up in the color green, and what is incorrect shows up in the color red. So Anki gives you immediate feedback on what you did well and what you did not so well, so where you made a mistake. Underneath that, you can see what the answer was supposed to be. So again, the first part which shows up in green is what I answered correctly. But over here, this part in gray, this is what I should have answered. So Anki gives you immediate feedback. You can immediately tell what you did well and what you did wrong. So this is a really nice feature for those that want to practice their spelling or those who want to practice their typing. However, let's say that you changed and you regret your choice. You only want to go back to the first card type, which was simply knowing what went inside the blank area. So you didn't have to type. How do you go back to having only the first card type? So I'll show you now. Go to Browse, and then you will click on the Japanese A1 Vocabulary Anki deck. You can click on any card, it doesn't matter which one. And if I go down, you can see there's a word yes over here. Now, all you have to do is delete this yes. But again, doing this one by one for all these cards takes a very long time. So I'll show you how to do it in a faster way. Click on any of them, Control A, Command A, right mouse click, Notes, Find and Replace. We want to find the word yes, and we want to replace this with nothing. So we want an empty area over here, and we want to do this for the Enable Typing Practice field. So find yes, replace with empty in Enable Typing Practice. Yes, and the cards have been updated. If I scroll down, you can see it's empty. Exit here, now go to Decks. And you can see right now that I still have to do one more thing, which is to get rid of the empty cards. So I'll go to Tools, Empty Cards. And you can see I have this optional typing practice over here. I have all these empty cards and I want to get rid of them. And voila, now we only have the first card type left, which was a simple fill in the blank one where you didn't have to type. Now there's one more thing that I would like to share with you. Many people ask me, Sam, how do you regulate the amount of cards that you see every day? And what are the best settings for Anki? So this is what I'll show you now. Next to the Japanese A1 Vocabulary Anki deck, you can tell that there's a little icon over here. If I click on it, then I'll click on Options, a pop-up opens, and you can see there's an area called Daily Limits. And in Daily Limits, you have two fields. You have new cards per day, which is 15. So this regulates how many new cards you do every day. In this case, for me, it's 15. And you have maximum reviews per day, and this regulates how many reviews you do every day. So a review is simply a card that you've already done before. But please note that it says maximum. So this does not mean that I will do 150 reviews every day, but simply a maximum amount of 150. So it could be 20 or 30 or 40, but it's simply a maximum of 150. If I want to change this to a bigger number, so if I want to increase this, I can do so. I can change this to 30. And I can change the maximum reviews to 300, and I can save this. Let's have a look. The numbers have increased. I can decrease this as well. If I go back to options, I can go to 5 new cards per day. I changed it, and I can enter 50 over here. Click on save. You can tell the numbers have decreased. And I can go back to the original setting, which was 50 new cards and 150 reviews per day. Now, this is also what I recommend for most people starting with Anki. 50 new cards per day is a very fair and decent amount of cards. You learn a lot, but it's not overwhelming. And a maximum review is 150 a day. Again, it's not that you do 150, but it's a maximum of 150. This is a fair amount of reviews. Again, you can increase or decrease. Please choose whichever number you feel comfortable with, but please choose one that you know you'll be able to do every day. A nice little tip, whichever number you enter over here, do it times 10 over here. So I have 15 new cards per day, and if I do it times 10, I get 150. If I scroll down, you can see there's an area called FSRS. You can see that I have it turned on. Now, what is this exactly? FSRS is a better algorithm than the default Anki algorithm. Now, the algorithm essentially determines which cards you see and when you see them. And many studies have gone into the FSRS algorithm, and it is shown that this algorithm is much better when it comes to memorization. So if you want to memorize things more effectively and more efficiently, please choose the FSRS algorithm. It knows exactly when you need to see which cards, and it does a better job than the Anki default one, or the default Anki one. So FSRS on, and for desired retention, I recommend 90%. So one more time, new cards per day, 15, maximum reviews per day, 150. And FSRS on, as you can see right over here, and desired retention, 90%. I'll click on save. And that is it. That is what I wanted to show you in this video. I hope you enjoyed my explainer video of the Japanese A1 Vocabulary Anki deck. You can get the Anki deck at languageatlas.com. I repeat, languageatlas.com. I will share all the links in the comment section and in the description, so you know where to go if you want to get the deck or if you simply want to have more information. Thanks again for watching. I want to wish you the best of luck when it comes to learning Japanese language, and have a great day. Goodbye.